Deep beneath a temple in southern India sits an iron-sealed room known only as Vault B. For over a decade, it has been the subject of global fascination, rumored to hold a trillion-dollar hoard protected by ancient curses. To understand why this wealth is here, we have to look past the modern padlocks and travel back 1,000 years into a mythical forest. In the 9th century, a devout monk named Vilva Mangalam Swamiyar spent his days in deep meditation, praying for a vision of the deity Vishnu. His prayers were answered when a joyful child with a glowing aura appeared, peeking out from behind the trees to watch the sage at work. The sage took the boy in, and they lived peacefully until the child began playing with a saligrama, a highly sacred stone. When Swamiyar saw the boy treating the artifact like a toy, he lost his temper and shouted. The child vanished instantly, leaving behind a single instruction: "If you want to see me again, find me at Anantha. Swamiyar had no idea where Anantha was. He wandered through dense forests for days, driven to the brink of starvation. His search seemed hopeless until he collapsed near a tribal woman and heard her threaten to send her crying son to the forest of Anantha. Revived, the sage sprinted into the woods. He finally spotted the glowing child near a towering ilupa tree, but as he ran toward him, the boy stepped backward and merged directly into the trunk. The tree split open and transformed into a stone figure of Vishnu in a reclining pose. The statue measured 18 feet from head to toe. A single entrance couldn't frame the entire figure, so the sage had to construct 3 separate doors, one to view the face, one for the navel, and a third for the feet. This site, the Anantha Padmanabha Swamy temple, began as a sanctuary for this specific vision. The later fortifications and wealth grew around this 18-foot stone center. As pilgrims flocked to the site, the Reen Chera and Travancore kings began a centuries-long expansion. They encased the original shrine in massive stone walls, towering pillars, and fortified gates, turning the forest sanctuary into a fortress. The kings mandated a 10% god tax on all citizens, payable directly to the temple. To this, they added royal gifts from neighboring empires and the gold looted during perimeter. But this wealth grew from the soil. Travancore controlled Kerala's pepper. Demand was so high, foreign merchants literally traded solid gold for handfuls of peppercorns. This trade pipeline, combined with mandatory religious taxes, funneled centuries of global gold and silver into a single, highly guarded location. By 1750, the kingdom's accumulation of gold made it a target. The army of Tipu Sultan was advancing toward Travancore, threatening to seize the treasury to fund his own expansion. King Marthanda Varma responded with a total legal reorganization of the state. He officially dedicated his entire kingdom to the deity, declaring that the kings were no longer sovereign rulers, but Padmanabha Dasa, servants of the Lord. To hide the assets, the royal family used fleets of elephants to drag the state treasury into 6 subterranean stone vaults. To protect Vault B, the king summoned mystics to cast a Naga Bandham, a seal invoking serpent guardians. Lore states the doors were locked using a sonic frequency, only undone by a highly precise chant known as the Garuda mantra. By transforming state funds into sacred artifacts, the king ensured that any invader attempting to loot the treasury would be committing an act of war against a god. The psychological defense worked for over a century. A 1908 report claims a group of thieves attempted to breach the vaults, but they reportedly fled when a swarm of cobras emerged from the floor. In 1931, however, King Balarama Varma was forced to act. A severe famine had devastated the kingdom, and the state treasury was empty. He ordered guards to use axes and crowbars to open an outer vault, extracting just enough gold to buy grain for his people. The vaults remained closed until 2011, when the Supreme Court of India responded to a petition alleging the gold was being mismanaged. The court ordered an official inventory of the subterranean chambers. Inside Vault A, auditors found gold coins, diamond-studded crowns, and heavy thrones resting in the debris of long-decayed wooden chests. The sheer weight of the precious metal was valued at over $20 billion. This discovery shifted the global perception of the temple. An ancient act of defensive devotion was suddenly measured by its weight in gold and its current market price. Despite the audit of the other chambers, Vault B was never opened. Public protests and religious sentiment regarding the serpent curse led the court to keep the doors sealed, protected by a perimeter of armed tactical units. This left a decade-long legal question: who is the rightful owner of a trillion-dollar hoard found underneath a city? In 2020, the Supreme Court reached a final decision based on a specific provision in Indian law. Deities are recognized as legal persons with property rights, but they are classified as perpetual minors, children who cannot manage their own assets. Because the deity is legally a minor, the state cannot seize the property. The court recognized the Travancore royal family as the Shebates, or the legal guardians, upholding their 270-year-old pledge to serve the temple. The world's largest treasure belongs to a deity who, in the eyes of the law, remains a child. The gold rests with the same family that first pledged to guard the child found in the forest over 1,000 years ago.